Shubh Navarātri to all the devotees, to everyone, to all the seekers. Shubh Gudi Padwa, Shubh Ugadi to every one of you. Chaitra Śukla Pratipadā. In our tradition, today is our Vedic New Year. The first day of our New Year, and that is today. Chaitra Mas, Shukla Paksh, and Pratipadā. So I wish each and every one of you a very Shubh Naya Saal, New Year. Dear devotees and seekers, today also being the first day of Navarātri, specifically Chaitra Navarātri, these upcoming 9 days are dedicated specifically to the 9 forms of Ma Durga, to the feminine herself, to the Devi herself, to the goddess herself. And that is how we are starting our new year. At this time, dear devotees and seekers, I wanted to recite a very powerful names of Ma Durga, specifically the 9 names of Ma Durga, the feminine, the goddess, from Durga Saptashati. This is where Markandeya Rishi, he asks Brahmaji himself, is there something that is truly a secret? Truly a secret. But at the same exact time, is there something that is truly powerful? That truly can help us. Not only help us, but something that can protect us all. Is there something like that? You can absolutely share this live, and of course, if not right now, you will have a chance to take a look at this live conversation on the first day of our new year for a month. I believe Facebook keeps this live for 1 month, for 30 days. So you'll have a chance to go back and recite the names of Ma Durga whenever you can. Markandeya asks, Markandeya Uvacha, Om Yad Guhyam Paramam Loke Sarvaraksha Karam Drunam Yannakasya Chidakhyatam Tanme Bruhi Pitamaha. Markandeya himself asked Brahmaji, could you please tell me something that is truly a secret, something that is truly powerful, something that is truly protective of us all? This is almost like a Arjun sort of a moment from Bhagavad Gita. We will talk about that as well, by the way. Everything is connected. All of our scriptures are connected. And towards the very end, I'll reveal something truly powerful, which you will be surprised to know. Brahma says there indeed is a sacred teaching that is beneficial to everybody and it is known as a sacred kavach. And ladies and gentlemen, we all need a kavach. We need a shield of protection all around us. What does Brahmaji say? Specifically, he says, Brahmovacha asti guhyatamam vipra sarvabhutopakarакam devyastu kavacham punyam Tachshunushva Mahamune. And from here on, Brahmaji lists 9 forms of Durga, 9 forms of Shakti. Without Shakti, ladies and gentlemen, seekers, we would not be here today. We need Shakti. We need the feminine. Without the feminine, even gods cannot do anything. You cannot live without Shakti. And Shakti comes in many forms. You cannot ignore Shakti from your life. Feminine is all around you. What exactly is feminine? Feminine is nature. That's exactly what Brahmaji starts off with. The 9 forms of Ma Durga, the feminine, the Shakti, the goddess. Prathamam Shailaputri cha Dvitiyam Brahmacharini Trutiyam Chandra Ghanteti Kushmandeti Chaturthakam Panchamam Skandamateti Shashtham Katyayaniti cha Saptamam Kalaratriti Mahagauriti Chashtamam Navamam Siddhidatri cha Navadurgaha Prakirtitaha Uktanyetani Namani Brahmanaiva Mahatmana Agnina Dahiyamanastu Shatru Madhye Gatorane Vishame Durgame Chaiva Bhayatar Sharanam Gata. The 9 very powerful, of course. Shakti, the feminine, the goddess, comes in many forms. But 9 most powerful forms of Ma Durga, without which we would not survive, without we would not be alive today. Without Shakti, without Prakriti. Even Bhagavan says, I cannot do anything without feminine. Without the Shakti in my hands, I cannot do anything. I cannot create. I cannot run the entire world. I cannot follow my own dharma. Bhagavan says himself. Navdurga, the first one today. Prathamam Shailaputri cha. Shailaputri. She is the daughter of a mountain. We know how strong a mountain is. She literally is a daughter of the mountain. We know Mata Parvati. She is a Himalaya Putri, right? She's the daughter of the mountain. Not only does she provide stability in life, for stability, you got to have Shakti within your life. She provides grounding. Shailaputri also being, again, the first day of Navarātri, she is the beginning of our journey as well. The spiritual development as well. Second one, Brahmacharini, the one who walks the path of tap. If you want to get to Brahma, if you want to get to the godly consciousness, you can call it the God consciousness, you can call it anything you want. God, Bhagavan, Ishwar. If you want to get to that point where Brahma resides, and Brahma is technically everywhere, we haven't really realized it yet, but if you want to get to that point, you need Shakti within your life. That's the second form. Prathamam Shailaputri cha Dvitiyam Brahmacharini Trutiyam Chandraghanteti Kushmandeti Chaturthakam. The third one, Chandraghanta. The third day. This is exactly the Navarātri. This is a spiritual development. It's not only about dancing. Of course, around Ma Durga's form, we should. But it is significantly more than that. You are Chandraghanta, the one with the moon bell. We know a God who keeps a moon on his head, and that is Bhagavan Shri Shankar himself. She represents the courage. She represents the readiness to face challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that might come a little bit surprising to you, but you will be surprised to know. You know, Bhagavad Gita is very famous, very popular, and as it should be all across the entire world. Bhagavad Gita itself, 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita starts, dear devotees, 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita starts. You know what Bhagavan Shri Krishna say to Arjun? 2 chapters. Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita, 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita starts, the actual battle and the Bhagavad Gita as we know it, Bhagavan Shri Krishna say to Arjun, "Oh Arjun, do you know what I want you to do at this time?" It's amazing. This is a story. We are Arjun, ladies and gentlemen. You know what Bhagavan says? Bhagavan says, "I want you to worship Durga at this time." Why? In order to bless you with everything that you require, especially the victory that you desire, and the victory that is already yours, by the way. For that, worship Durga at this time. 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita, you can take a look at any time you want. Mahabharat, Bhishma Parva, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Parva, Durga Stotra, and specifically it is the Teisva, Trevis, which means 23rd chapter of Mahabharat, Bhishma Parva, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Parva, and within that, what does Bhagavan Shri Krishna say? Arjun, go ahead and pray to Ma Durga, the feminine, the goddess, at this time. Of course, the nar that Arjun is, it is right here, dear devotees, dear seekers. 16 various shlok that Arjun recites in the praise of Ma Durga, the feminine, the Shakti. What does he say? Arjuna uvacha Namaste Siddha Senani Arye Mandarvasini Kumari Kalika Pali Kapile Krishna Pingale Bhadrakali Namastubhyam Mahakali Namostute Chandi Chande Namastubhyam Tarini Varavarnini Katyayani Mahabhage Karali Vijaye Jaye Shikhi Pichhajvadhare Nana Bharana Bhushite Attashula Praharane Khadga Khetak Dharini Gopendrasyanuje Jeshthe Nandakopa Kulodbhave Mahishasukpriye Nityam Kaushiki Pitavasini Attahase Kokamukhe Namaste Sturana Priye Umesha Kambhari Shresthe Krishne Kaitabhanashini हिरण्याक्षि विरूपाक्षि सुधूम्राक्षि नमोऽस्तुते वेदश्रुति महापुण्ये ब्रह्मण्ये जातवेदसी जम्बूकटकचैत्येषु नित्यं सन्निहितालये त्वं ब्रह्म विद्या विद्यानां महानिद्रा च देहिनां स्कन्दमातर्भगवती दुर्गे कान्तारवासिनी स्वाहाकारः स्वधा चैव कलाकाष्ठा सरस्वती सावित्री वेदमाता च तथा वेदान्त उच्यते स्तुतासि त्वं महादेवी विशुद्धेनान्तरात्मना जयो भवतु मे नित्यं त्वत्प्रसादात् रणाजिरे कान्तारभयदुर्गेषु भक्तानां चालयेषु च नित्यं वससि पाताले युद्धे जयसि दानवान् त्वं जम्भनी मोहिनी च माया हृष्यस्तथैव च सन्ध्या प्रभावती चैव सावित्री जननी तथा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्दीप्तिश्चन्द्रादित्यविवर्धिनी भूतिः भूतिमतां संख्ये वीक्ष्यसे सिद्धचारणैः. 16 shlok that Arjun recited in the praise of Ma Durga 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita as we know it starts. Mahabharat, Bhishma Parva, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Parva. Bhagavad Gita starts on the 25th chapters. At 23rd chapter, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying to Arjun, worship the feminine, the fierce, the goddess, the Shakti, if you want what you desire. Krishna is saying this to Arjun, and Arjun recited these exact 16 shlok. You know, as Arjun is going through various names of Shakti, the goddess, all he is trying to do, because Shakti resides all around us, all we need to do, all Arjun did as well, is bring that out from ourselves. Every man has a feminine within. Every feminine has a man within. All that we are trying to do is bring the feminine out of us so that we can achieve what we desire. Arjun calls Ma Durga Siddha Senani, the leader of all the perfect beings. Mandaravasini, the one who resides in the sacred realms of Mandar, Mandarachal, Mandar mountain. She is Kumari. She is already pure. She always remains pure. The feminine always remain pure. She is untouched. She is Kumari. She is Kali. You know, she's pure, but then she's also fierce. She is the destroyer of all the negativity. She is Kapali. She is beyond life and death. She is also Kapila. She is radiant. She is Krishna Pingala. She is also slightly dark. Dark in the sense, dark complexion as well. She takes many forms. She also takes many complexions as well. She can be white. She can also be dark. She can be Dhavala. She can also be Śukla, for example. Krishna Pingala. You know, when we say Krishna, what exactly does Krishna mean? Krishna means the one who is of a darker complexion. But when we say Krishna, Now that represents somebody else. When we say Krishna, that is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Alright? But when we say Krishna, a little bit of a difference. Now you've changed the meaning a little. The gender has changed a little bit as well. And that means Draupadi. Draupadi was also called Krishna. Why? Because she was also of a darker complexion. When you say Shiv, that is Bhagavan Shri Shankar. But then within Sanskrit grammar, when you add a matra, when you say Shiva, nothing wrong with saying Shiv or Shiva. You should know who you're praising. When you say Shiv, that is Bhagavan Shri Shankar. When you say Shiva, that is now Mata Parvati. When you say Krishna, that is Bhagavan Krishna. When you say Krishna, that is Draupadi. By the way, Krishna and Krishna, they share a relationship. And the relationship is that of a brother and a sister. We know the story. When you say Ram, that is Bhagavan Shri Ram. When you say Rama, now the entire gender has changed. Now you're referring to Ma Sita herself. Ram and Rama. Samba Sadashiv, Bhavani Shankar, Mahadev, right? Arjun calls Ma Durga Krishna Pingala, a powerful cosmic form. She is the auspicious Kali, she is Mahakali, she is the great Kali, she is Chandi, she is Chamunda. She is the intense remover of all the injustice in the world. And so not only to remove all the injustice, the difficulties from ourselves, to destroy enemies, we need Shakti. The fact that you're listening to me, the fact that I'm moving my hand, the fact that I'm talking, that we're thinking, without Shakti, we would not be able to do any of this. By the way, she is Katyayani herself. She is Karali. She is soft, yet she's so powerful. She is Vijaya and Jaya. By the way, Mata Parvati has two friends, Vijaya and Jaya. Who do you think told Mata Parvati initially that, you know what, Mata Parvati, you should have a protector of your own? We know the story of Bhagavan Ganapati's birth. And Jaya and Vijaya, the friends of Mata Parvati, say to Mata Parvati, you know what? You need to have a protector solely of your own. Somebody who only listens to you. And Mata Parvati creates a beautiful form in the form of a child. Initially, that child's name, that child, born directly out of Mata Parvati, he is bound to be powerful. He is bound to be the protector. But that name is Vinayak initially. Once the original head is cut off, and once the elephant head is attached, then he becomes Ganapati. Then he becomes Ganesh. Then he becomes Gajanan. But initially, when Mata Parvati created him, he was known as Vinayak. The beautiful difference only between Vinayak and Ganapati is Vinayak very powerful. So is also Bhagavan Shri Ganapati. We always remember Bhagavan Shri Ganapati at the beginning of all the auspicious endeavors, right? Every single one of them. Even your day should start off with Bhagavan Shri Ganapati's name as well. So Vinayak and Bhagavan Ganapati, very powerful, literally born directly out of Ma Parvati, Ma Durga, the feminine. By the way, in my opinion, the most powerful force in this universe, the most fierce force, the most energy, and that is the feminine energy. That is the Shakti. That's the most powerful force of this entire universe. So Vinayak, directly born out of Mata Parvati, of course he's bound to be the most powerful. He defeats everybody. He defeats all the gods. Even Bhagavan Narayan. And at one point Bhagavan Shankar could not defeat him. They could not. Vinayak had to be tricked. They had to be tricked by Bhagavan Narayan and Bhagavan Shankar together. Otherwise, nobody can defeat Vinayak. The only difference between Vinayak and Ganapati is Vinayak means Vinayak, one who has no leader. He has no boss. Vinayak, even Bhagavan Ganapati has no boss. He's the most powerful. But the subtle difference here is Vinayak, one without a leader, once he becomes the Ganapati, which means once the elephant head is attached, now he becomes, look at it first, he was without a leader, he was without a boss, right? He had nobody above him. He only listened to the feminine. He only listened to Shakti. Now he becomes the leader of everybody. Now he becomes Ganapati, the leader, the pati of everyone. Now he becomes Gana-ish, Ganesh. One without a leader, initially no boss, still no boss, but now he's the boss of everybody. He's the remover of all the obstacles, which is why Ganapati is always remembered. But who is Ganapati? The Vinayak is born out of Shakti again, which is why we say Om. Om is the first sound of this entire universe. First Om, and then Shri. Why Shri? What does Shri represent? You cannot avoid Shri. Shri is nature. Shri is the feminine. Shri is the Shakti. You can call Shri Ma Durga, Ma Parvati, Ma Lakshmi, Ma Saraswati, your Kuldevi, Umya Ma, Chamunda Ma, Ambe Ma. Regardless, Shri means Shakti. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. If you can't do anything today, as your first day of the new year, all you have to do, and that is very easy, but you have to put in some effort. Remember always, without any effort, there is nothing to be attained at all. There's nothing for free here. There are no shortcuts in life either. You have to put in the effort if you want change, if you want transformation. But you know what? Always remember one thing. Bhagavan, Shakti, Brahma, feminine, they all reside all around you already. They're all around you. All you have to do is access it. Go ahead and access it. That's all you have to do. But you do have to access it. It's in your hands to access it. Nobody's going to do that for you. You have to do that. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. That should be our first line wherever you go. We always start with Om Shri, the feminine, Ganesh, the most powerful, Namaha, I bow to you. Then whichever greetings you like. I like Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Mahadev is also beautiful, right? What other greetings that you like? Cultural, religious greetings, right? Jai Mataji, Jai Ambe, Jai Chamunda. It's amazing. I can go on and on. Attashula Prahar. She's the wield of trident. I mean, Nandagop Kulodbhave. You know, Ma Durga, or the feminine, everything is connected, by the way. Everything is connected. The feminine, the goddess, she is referred to as, by Arjun here, in front of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, in the middle of the battlefield, 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita, Arjun says, Ma Durga, do you know who you are? Of course, Ma Durga knows who she is. She has many forms, countless forms. But you know what's beautiful here? He says, Arjun says, you are the younger sister. Younger sister of who? Younger sister of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. You come from the family of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. That is what Ma Durga is, by the way. Which is why Bhagavan Shri Krishna, of course, Krishna knows. And you know what? I'm going to reveal something even more surprising right after this one. So not only is the feminine, the sister, the younger sister, not just sister, younger sister of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. But you know what Arjun says? Even though you're younger than Bhagavan Shri Krishna, you are supremely more powerful. You are supremely more powerful. Can you imagine? Again, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. As a brother, I have 2 younger sisters. As a brother, I would say the exact same thing. Every brother would say the exact same thing. You know what? Yeah, my sisters are younger than me. Absolutely no doubt. But they are significantly more special than I am. They're significantly more powerful than I am. They hold a special place in my heart, which is significantly above It's amazing. Yeah? And the next one I want you to pay attention to. This is what Arjun says. O Ma Durga, Shikhi Picha Dvaja Dhare. Do you know what you have? You are the bearer, the one who holds. You are the bearer of the peacock feather banner. What does Ma Durga have? What does she hold? She holds a peacock feather banner. Shikhi Picha Dvaja Dhare. What does Bhagavan Shri Krishna also hold on his head? What does he hold? A peacock feather. A representation of the feminine herself. You know, when you truly get into our scriptures, you almost, you're surprised every day. My point is that, there's astonishment. It's just wow. In every single moment you get into your own scriptures, by the way. Ma Durga's banner holds what? Peacock. So does Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, 2 chapters before, tells Arjun to worship Ma Durga. And Arjun worships her in many different forms, by the way. I can keep going on and on and on. And you know what Ma Durga says? Ma Durga, by the way, the end of 16 shlok of praises to Ma Durga, 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita. And Devi Uvacha. Ma Durga appears herself, by the way. She appears in front of Arjun. And you know what she says? She says, she of course blesses Arjun. And in that blessings, Ma Durga has already announced that Arjun, you will be the victorious one. You. The war hasn't even started. The war hasn't even started. It is about to last 18 days. This is the first day. The war hasn't even started. Arjun has worshipped Ma Durga in many forms. Ma Durga appears and she already blesses him that he is going to be victorious. And you know what she says? In the end, before she disappears, she says, not even Indra himself can defeat you now. The one who holds a Vajra, that is Indra. Ajayastvam rane rinam api Vajra bhutah swayam. Not even the Vajra Brut can defeat you now. Even Indra cannot defeat you. Which means even the divine, the God, cannot defeat you. That's how powerful you have become. Why? Because you have from within you brought out the Shakti, which I am. Remember one thing in your life. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamunda Yai Viche. This is known as Navarātri mantra. These are the seed mantra of Mataji, of the feminine, of the goddess. Remember, if you remember one thing, without feminine, you would not be here. Without the Shakti, you wouldn't be here. You will owe everything to Shakti, to the feminine, to the goddess. Without that, we cannot. So you cannot forget your goddess, whoever the goddess is in your own life. And we have many goddesses in our life, don't we? Right? Of course, the goddess, Ma Durga, Ma Parvati, your Kul Devi. This is why you cannot forget your Kul Devi. No matter how hard you try, you cannot ignore your Kul Devi, the goddess of your entire lineage. The goddess of your entire lineage. The Shakti that has been protecting you up until this moment. You cannot ignore her. You cannot ignore her. You must remember your Kul Devi. You must. Krishna says, worship Durga. Narayan, I'll come to Narayan, I'll come to Bhagavan Shankar. All of our gods, by the way, worship Bhagavan the feminine herself as well. Ma Durga says even Indra cannot defeat you now. So then it makes you wonder, right? That if Ma Durga, imagine this is what Ma Durga says, you are Nar himself. Arjun, you are Nar. And you have within you and with you who? The Narayana. You are Nar, you have Narayan within you. You are Arjun, you have Bhagavan Shri Krishna within you. And you have my blessings as well. Nar, Narayan and Durga. It's a triangle. It's a beautiful triangle. You still wonder, why did then Arjun struggle so much 2 chapters after, in chapter 1 of Mahabharat, Bhishma Parva, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 25th chapter, why did then Arjun say, you know what, Bhagavan, I am struggling. I cannot fight. Even though he knows he can be victorious. So it's not just about victory though. See, there's something else that is going on within, right? Which Bhagavan Shri Krishna understands though. Right? Which is why we have Bhagavad Gita. We have covered Durga Saptashati, of course, the 9 forms of Ma Durga at the beginning, right? We have also covered Bhagavad Gita as well. Everything is connected. Without Shakti, nothing can exist. Let me blow your mind even more. That's what I'm here to do. Two more things I want to mention. And after that, I am sure you're busy. I'm very busy as well. And we'll go about our days. But the message will remain. And that is, first day of our new year, first day, you got to remember the feminine within you. My point was, we have various goddesses within us and all around us. You got to respect, right? The feminine is known as, she's literally Satya, right? Of course, the goddess, as we worship Ma Durga, your Kul Devi, you cannot forget. Remember, all you do, just remember. You don't have to do anything fancy. If you don't know, that's okay. Bhagavan, I don't know. Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, Bhaktihinam, Sureshwara, Yad Pujitam Maya Deva, Paripurnam Tadastume. I don't know any mantra. I don't know any Kriya. But you know what? You got to accept and be like, you know what? I don't know. Yeah, don't fake it. Don't fake it in front of Bhagavan. You can fake everywhere else. We do fake everywhere else, don't we? Fake it till you make it. We do fake everywhere else. But in front of Bhagavan, you cannot fake it. Why not? Bhagavan knows. He knows. She knows. Even if you tried, who are you truly trying to... who are you truly trying to fake against? Bhagavan? You can't do that. So be exactly how you are, as you would in front of a mirror. Whether you like looking at yourself in the mirror or not, doesn't matter. Bhagavan is your mirror. We are literally created from the mirror image of Bhagavan. Every man, right, is a masculine force of this universe. Every woman are a feminine force of this universe. Together when they come, they are Ardhanareshwar. Right? Bhagavan Shankar and Mata Parvati together. You know, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, once upon a time, was telling Bhagavan Shri Krishna, when he was little, when he was young, he was telling his father Nanda Baba that, oh Nanda Baba, oh father, let me tell you who exactly I am. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am. And he describes. You know what he says? Let me tell you about all of my manifestation. Among all the gods, I am Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Among all the gods, I am Bhagavan Shri Krishna. In Vaikunt, I am Bhagavan Shri Vishnu. In Shivlok, I am Bhagavan Shankar. This is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying. You see how everything is connected. Nothing is Nothing is separately on its own. Nothing exists separately on its own. I am Shri Krishna. In Vaikuntha, I am Bhagavan Vishnu. In Shivalok, I am Bhagavan Shankar. In Brahmalok, I am Brahma. Bhagavan says, I am everything. Among all the radiant ones, I am the sun. Among all that is pure, we have already mentioned, the feminine is the most pure. Among all the things that are pure, I am the fire. Among all the liquids, I am the water. Among all the letters, I can keep going. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he lists many manifestations. Among all the letters, I am the first letter, A, which is why the first sound, the first sound is that of as well. Among all the letters, I am A. Among all the Indra, and there are many different types of Indra, by the way, I am current Indra, as we know it. There are other types of Indra as well. Among all the pervading elements, I am the space, I am Akash. In our last class, we had talked about 5 elements that we are also made up of. The first element to come into being, that's Akash. Bhagavan says, I am Akash. I am the space, I am the ether. It is from ether that the sound is produced. That's the second element, that's the air. Once Akash always remains. We always merge back into Akash as well. The space, the second element that comes out of being from Akash, and that is air. From air comes fire. From fire comes water. From water comes earth. So this is the cycle from space, air, fire, water, earth. That's how creation is formed. Earth is the last one to be formed. And how does everything dissolve? It dissolves in the exact opposite manner as well. So earth goes back into water, water goes back into fire, fire goes back into air, air again goes back into Akash, the space, the ether. I am Tulsi, Bhagavan says. Among all the leaves, I am Tulsi, which is why we offer Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Bhagavan Narayan what? Tulsi. But remember one thing, भगवान गणपति को तुलसी अर्पण नहीं होती. We usually don't offer tulsi to Bhagavan Shri Ganapati within his Naivedya or within the Panchamrita of his. So initially I always recommend, and most people know this by the way, but I always recommend, it's not like we've made any mistakes. We don't really make mistakes. But once you know, you can minimize some of the things that you don't have to do. So at the beginning of every puja, I normally recommend don't add tulsi in the beginning. Why? Because Bhagavan Ganapati is always revered first. And tulsi is not offered to Bhagavan Ganapati initially. But let's say when we're worshipping Bhagavan Krishna, right? Bhagavan Narayan, Satya Narayana. Then you can add tulsi during Bhagavan Satya Narayan, Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna puja. Among all the great yogi, I am Ganesh. This is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling Nanda Baba. Among all the great yogi, we also know Bhagavan Shankar is also the greatest of yogi as well. I am Ganesh. Among all the archers, you know what he says? He doesn't say I'm Ram. Of course, he is Ram, right? You know what he says? Among all the archers, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, I am Ram's brother, Lakshman. So where does Bhagavan Ram come? If among all the archers, I am Lakshman, among all the kings, the greatest of all the kings, Bhagavan Shri Ram. Krishna says, among all the kings, I am Bhagavan Shri Ram. One time we'll spend an entire session just talking about this entire list of what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling Nanda Baba, that among all my manifestations, because Bhagavan has chosen specific manifestation within the group of all the manifestations. So for example, among all the kings, we have had many various kings. The reason why our Hindu calendar is known as Vikram Samvat. You know, we should know our Hindu calendar is known as Vikram Samvat. In some parts of India, currently Vikram Samvat 2081 is going on. In some parts of India, Vikram Samvat 2082 is going on. But regardless, we're not that far off. 2081, 2082. Regardless, one of the greatest king, Vikramaditya, when he first became a king, that the day when he became a king was year number 1. That was day number 1 of year number 1. So that means, since he became king, Vikramaditya himself, I want you to understand where Vikram Samvat comes from. 2081 or 2082, we're not that far off. Vikramaditya became a king. Can you imagine? Which is why we have Vikram Samvat, which is why we follow Vikram Samvat. So we've had many beautiful, amazing, powerful kings in our history, but Bhagavan says here, among all the kings, I am Ram. Among all the days, it's so beautiful. Bhagavan covers everything. Among all the days, I am Ravivar, I am Suryavar, I am Sun Day. Among all the Tithi, I am Ekadashi. So you wonder why Ekadashi is revered so highly. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, among all the Tithi, I am Ekadashi. And you know what? I can go on, but this is where I want you to truly pay attention. Why? Because today is the first day of Navarātri. This is the first day of our new year. This is a day that is dedicated to the feminine, the goddess, the Shakti in our own life. You know, I keep forgetting to come back to this, right? So we always worship the goddess, your Kul Devi, the goddess, right? From Panchadev, Bhagavan Shri Ganapati, Ma Durga, the mother of Bhagavan Shri Ganesh, the feminine, is one of the Panchadev, by the way. These are the Panchadev. Ganeshji, Ma Durga, the mother of Bhagavan Shri Ganeshi. Look at this. From out of 5, 3 of them are family members. Bhagavan Shri Ganesh, Ma Durga, and Bhagavan Shankar. From Panchadev, 3 of them are already family members. Bhagavan Shri Ganesh, Ma Durga, Har, which means Bhagavan Shri Shankar, Mahadev, Rudra. 4th, and that is Bhagavan Shri Narayan, in any form. Balaji, Ram, Krishna, Vishnu, Vaman, Parshuram, Matsya, Kalki, any and all forms of Bhagavan Narayan, by the way. And last but not the least, Ganeshji, Ma Durga, Bhagavan Shankar, Bhagavan Vishnu, Narayan, and Surya Narayan, Lord's Sun. Which is why Bhagavan says, what? Among all the days, I am Ravivar, I am Suryavar, I am Sun Day. Among all the animals, I am lion. I can keep going on and on. But since today, being the first day of the feminine, I want you to invoke the feminine within you. If you need victory, if you need anything powerful, you got to invoke the feminine within you. You know what Bhagavan says here? Krishna is telling Nanda Baba, his father, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, among all the relationships, and we have many relationships, parents, children, friends, extended family members, we have so many, right? You know what Bhagavan chooses? One of my manifestation among all the relationship, I am the mother. I want you to let that sink in for a second. See, sometimes we forget how to pause in life. We don't know how to pause at times. We go on and on, right? Like Instagram reels, we go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And every second we're just going and going and going and going and going. All of our days are going and going and going. All of our weekends are going and going and going. Our months, our years, our entire lifetime just kind of passes like this. And we forget how to kind of just pause even for a second. And here Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, among all the relationships, I am the mother herself. If you can't do anything, just remember your mother at this time. Just remember her. How hard is that? The one who gave you life. She is your first guru, by the way. The mother is your first guru. You know, it's so beautiful that within the shlok, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Of course, guru can take many forms. You can make many gurus. Your mom, your mother, the feminine, the Shakti. Again, this is why you cannot ignore the feminine from your life. The mother is your first guru. Now you can ignore nature. You can't, but let's say you ignore nature. You ignore your Kul Devi. You ignore all the Shakti, all the forms of Shakti. How will you ignore your own mother? How will you do that? You cannot. You are here because of your mother. Bhagavan says, I am, among all the relationships, I am the mother. Which is why Matru Devo Bhava comes first, and then Pitru Devo Bhava. Of course, father. Father is most important as well. You know what I always say? Father, of course, mother, I have no words. Mother is the highest. That's it. Bhagavan has said it. Mother is the highest. It is, that's it. It's done. Father, I also don't have any words for it either. Father, very important for everybody. But you know what I say? I say, it's truly a blessing to be a father of a daughter, though. It is truly a blessing to be a father of a daughter. You know, as a brother, I have two younger sisters, and I told you already, my sisters are significantly more special than I am. I will do anything for them. Significantly, and they're younger than me. They are way above me. Way above me. You know, it is truly something to be a father to a daughter, by the way. Only a father knows. Only the father. Of course, fatherhood in general. Son, daughter, doesn't matter. But to be a father of a daughter, only the father knows. You know why? You know, I always say Hanumanji is the strongest. Hanumanji is the strongest. I'll tell you how strong Hanumanji is. I'll tell you a little bit about it. If you have some time, I'll tell you. I'm here. You know, when we do Sundarkand, the Sundarkand of Ramcharitmanas, Pancham Sopan, it's a story about, it's a very small, within the entire timeline of Ramcharitmanas, it's a very small piece, which is the Pancham Sopan. There are 7 Sopan. Sopan literally means steps. So Ramcharitmanas, in a way, it is steps that leads us higher. So Sopan means something that leads us higher, not lower, because stairs can also go up, stairs can also come down. Sopan are something that leads us towards the higher realm, the higher being, the God consciousness. A Pancham Sopan is such a beautiful one because Pancham Sopan is exactly where we are also. This is where Hanumanji initially forgets who he is. He had to be reminded of who he is. You know, Jamwan says, you know, of course everybody knew, everybody was strong within Ram's army. Ram is strong, absolutely no doubt. Why? He is the greatest of all the kings. Bhagavan Shri Krishna has already said that. Ram is of course strong. The army of Bhagavan Ram is also very strong. But you know what? Everybody except for Bhagavan Hanumanji, everybody knows. You know what? We are able to see. Sampati says, I am able to see Sita ji in Lanka. But who's actually going to go to Lanka and then come back with the message of Mata Sita? Now, who's going to actually perform that task? Sampati says, the brother of Jatayu, you know what? I'm too old for it. I don't think I can do that. Who will go? You know, everybody knows this is Hanuman's duty. Everybody knows. So everybody, you know what they say? Jamwan says, you know what? If I was younger, I would have been able to do it. It's an excuse, by the way, for Jamwan. Jamwan is, of course, strong. Jamwan says, you know what? If I was a little younger, you know, when Bhagavan Vaman, Narayan Sarup Vaman, when he took the highest form, Vaman, took 3 steps. On the 3rd step, he became the largest. This is how powerful Jamwan is, by the way. Look at Bhagavan Ram's army. Jamwan, you know what he did? The most gigantic form of Vaman, Bhagavan Narayan, Jamwan 7 times did Vaman's Pradakshina. Can you imagine 7 times? Vaman's Pradakshina. So, he said, you know what? When I was young, I did that. But now I'm too old. I don't think I can do that. Angad is one of the other members of Ram's army. And he says, you know what? I'm strong enough to go to Lanka, but I don't know if I can come back. I'm not strong enough I don't know. I can go to Lanka, but I don't know if I'll be able to come back. Everybody says their own strength. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to remind Hanuman, this is your job. This is your duty. This is your responsibility. And as soon as Jamvan says, oh Hanumanji, you are literally the son of Pavan Sutta, Pavan Putra, the wind god. And your literal birth is to fulfill Ram's work. As soon as Hanumanji heard those words, I'm here for Ram's work, he became Parvatakara. He became like a mountain, specifically a golden mountain. He became so huge. That's all he had to be reminded. You are Pavan Putra and your literal birth is to fulfill Ram's work. And he became huge. You know what? What do I need to do? Hanumanji is ready now. Hanumanji is like, what do I need to do? I need to go to Lanka. I'll do that. Do I need to kill Ravan? Hanumanji is ready to kill Ravan at a moment's notice. What do I need to do? Tell me. Just tell me. I'll do it. I'll kill Ravan. I'll bring Sita back. Hanumanji says, by the way. Jamvan is like, don't worry about all that. It's okay. You know what? All you have to do is go to Lanka, give the message to Mata Sita that Bhagavan Ram is coming. Don't worry. And then bring back the message of Mata Sita back to Ram. That's all you have to do. Okay, I got you. No problem. That's my orders. I'll follow those orders, Hanumanji says. Hanumanji leaps across the entire ocean. He enters Lanka. He meets Vibhishan, who tells him about where Mata Sita is in Ashokvartika, where Mata Sita ji resides among all the demonesses, right? And Bhagavan Hanumanji had taken a very minute form, very minute form. And where Mata Sita ji was underneath a tree, Bhagavan Hanumanji from above, he looks at Mata Sita ji, then he drops a ring of Bhagavan Shri Ram. And then, of course, Mata Sita ji realized this is the message. Bhagavan Hanuman appears. He gives the message that Bhagavan Ram is coming. But you know what? Sita ji is going through a lot, by the way. If you just read the description of what Mata Sita ji was going at that time, she was weak. Only from the outside, not from the inside though. Only from the outside. And she says, you know what? Where is my Ram? Where is he? Is he coming? Hanumanji is like, absolutely he's coming. Don't worry. He's coming very soon. And Sita ji, she feels very good. She feels better. Then Hanumanji says, you know what, Mata Sita? I'm a bit hungry. I'm feeling a little hungry. Why? Because I just traveled 800 miles across the entire ocean. Mata, I'm feeling a little hungry. Can I just go and help myself? Mata Sita ji says, don't worry about it. Of course you can. This is Ashokvartika itself. Go ahead and feed yourself. Help yourself. But just remember, all these demonesses, they're very powerful. Hanumanji says, don't worry about them. So not only does Hanumanji help himself, I'm telling you about Hanumanji, and I'm talking about the father of a daughter. That was my initial main point. We're going through Sundarkand at this time. Right? Shakti is so important. Bhagavan Hanumanji just had to remind it of his Shakti, by the way. Today is the first day of Navarātri. We, all of us need to be reminded of our own Shakti. Sanghe Shakti Kalo Yuge. Within Kali Yuga, unity is the greatest Shakti of all. Without unity, you are weak. We are weak. Together we are weak. Sanghe Shakti. The Shakti resides in unity. Always remember, without unity, game over. With unity, their game is over. Hanumanji defeats all the demonesses and anybody who comes in his way. Hanumanji is obviously that powerful. You know what Ravan does when he receives the message that there is a monkey, a Vanar, who is uprooting the entire Ashokvartika. So not only does Hanumanji help himself, he feeds himself, but then he just starts destroying the entire Ashokvartika. And that message goes to Ravan. Ravan sends one of his sons. You won't believe, you're not going to guess what his name was. But I'll tell you what his name was. Ravan sends one of his sons to be able to take care of this Vanar Hanumanji, and his name was Akshay Kumar. You know what Hanumanji does with Akshay Kumar? Right away. Akshay Kumar. How do I say it? Finished. Killed. Game over for Akshay Kumar, Ravan's son. Of course, Ravan, being Ravan, he then sends Meghnad, another son of Ravan. Now, he's a bit more powerful, but of course not powerful than Hanumanji. But in order, see, he had a very powerful weapon, which again, Arjun knows about, which again in Mahabharat, Ashwatthama also knows about. So did Karna, but Karna forgets about this weapon of his. Meghnad also had this very powerful weapon, which is literally known as Brahmastra. Brahma Astra. The weapon of Brahma itself. Brahmastra. Meghnad knows about that. Arjun knows about that. Ashwatthama knows about that. Karna knew about it, but then he forgot at the last moment how to use the Brahmastra. But Hanumanji only and only in order to honor the Brahmastra, when Hanumanji saw that this is Brahmastra that Meghnad is using, let me honor it. Hanumanji is also very powerful. He is the devotee of Bhagavan Shri Ram. Brahmastra is nothing in front of Hanumanji, but in order to honor and respect the Brahmastra, not Meghnad, but Brahmastra, Hanumanji says, you know what? Let me go ahead and be bound. He binds, right? And then he's taken to Lanka. He's already in Lanka, but he is then taken to Ravan's Sabha. Ravan makes fun of him. Then at the end, he decides, you know what, let me go ahead and put fire to his tail. And we know the story. Hanumanji, using the tail, burning with fire. What does he do? He burns the entire Lanka. However, except for one place, one home. And that home is, of course, devotee's home. Except for Vibhishan's home, Hanumanji destroys, burns the entire Lanka except for Vibhishan's home. He spares Vibhishan's home. After doing all that, after destroying Ashok Vartika, after killing Akshay Kumar, after destroying the entire Lanka, all of a sudden, within moments' notice, Hanumanji comes back to Bhagavan Shri Ram. He gives the entire message to Bhagavan Shri Ram. Ram is very happy to see Hanumanji in the first place, but Ram is also very happy to hear the news of Mata Sita. He gets ready to attack Lanka. Then they start building the bridge, and that is the entire Sundarkand, by the way. The story from Bhagavan Shri Hanumanji leaps across the ocean. He comes back, and then they start building the bridge to Lanka. That is the entire Sundarkand. My point I haven't finished yet. How strong Hanumanji is, how strong a father of a daughter is. Listen to me very carefully. You know, when Hanumanji came back, Vibhishan, after being disrespected by Ravan, also comes back to Ram. He comes back to Ram, by the way. Vibhishan is the brother of Ravan. Vibhishan told Ravan, Ravan, you should still, even at this time, I know you've made a mistake, but even at this time, if you agree to give Mata Sita back, your life will be spared. Ravan, with the ego of the 10 heads he has, he disrespects, he literally kicks Vibhishan out of his court. Vibhishan being disrespected, he leaves that family. He comes to Ram. Ram, of course, meets Vibhishan. He accepts Vibhishan. But what Ravana did at this time is that when Vibhishan left Lanka to go to Ram, he also sent spies after Vibhishan. Once the spy went after Vibhishan, they saw everything that Vibhishan talked about in front of Ram. Again, I want you to take a look at it from the enemy's perspective, by the way. There's a beautiful movie coming out today, by the way. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Ravan had sent spies. It says in Ramcharitmanas, by the way, he had sent spies after Vibhishan. Of course, the spy's job is to observe. They observe everything. At one point, the spies were captured. Ram's army knew that these are the spies of Ravana. They capture the spies. They make fun of him, right? But Ram says, let them go. So they let them go. Spies go back to Ravana. You know what they say? This is what I want you to pay attention to now. Something so beautiful. The spies go back to, after being ridiculed by Ram's army, the spies of Ravana go back to Ravana and they say, Ravana, exactly what Vibhishan said. Exactly, even the wife of Ravana, Mandodari, had also mentioned that Ravana, you should listen now. You should agree to give Sita back. But he didn't even listen to his own wife, Mandodari. Last time, this is the last try. The spies say to Ravana, Ravana, if you don't listen now, let me tell you what's going to happen to you. Do you remember that monkey that had come to our Lanka? Do you remember that monkey? Ravana says, yeah, I remember that Vanar. The Vanar you're talking about? Hanumanji, I remember that Vanar, yeah. The spies say the Vanar who had come to our Lanka, right? He entered Lanka like nothing. He met Mata Sita. He destroyed your entire Ashok. This is what spies are telling, by the way, Ravana. That Vanar who, without any difficulties, entered Lanka, destroyed your entire Ashok. Not only that, he killed your own son, Akshay Kumar. Not only that, he burned the entire Lanka, and who left the entire Lanka without us being able to capture him. Do you remember them? Do you remember that one individual, that one Vanar, one Hanuman? Do you know what they say to Ravana? They say that, oh Ravana, that Vanar, that Hanuman, what we have noticed in Ram's army, let me just tell you about Ram's army, how powerful it is compared to yours. If one individual was able to come to Lanka and perform and wreak havoc in your own city, in your own Lanka, now imagine everybody, but let me just tell you, Hanumanji, this is what the spies, the enemy is telling Ravana, by the way. So this is from the enemy's perspective. What spies say in the end, that Hanuman, that Vanar, he is the weakest of them all. We know Hanumanji is not weak. But again, look at it from the spy's perspective. You know what they say? That Hanumanji is the weakest of them all. Trying to scare Ravan just to be like, if one individual can perform this much havoc in your Lanka without you being able to capture, now just imagine the entire army of Bhagavan Sri Ram coming here. Can you imagine what's going to happen to you, Ravan? If that Hanumanji was the weakest of all the members, not that he's weak, but Ram's army, they are very strong. Of course, Hanumanji is very strong. Ravan, you should listen now. And that was the final warning, by the way. That was the final warning. Ravan doesn't listen. We know the story. Exactly what's going to happen. Anybody who is an enemy of Bhagavan Ram, of Bhagavan Narayan, Bhagavan himself, anybody who is an enemy of the feminine, of the Shakti, that's what's going to happen. My entire point was, I know Hanumanji is strong. We've also listened to the Sundarkan Katha while we're talking about here. But I believe that the father of a daughter is even more strong than Hanumanji himself. The father of a daughter is even more strong than Hanumanji. The father of a daughter. We're talking about Shakti today. We're talking about the feminine. We're talking about the goddesses in our life, like our mother, like our daughter, like our wife, like our sister. Only the father of a daughter knows, by the way, how strong, because he must be strong. He is strong, physically, mentally, and spiritually, by the way. I've seen many fathers, by the way, and this is the pattern that I've noticed again and again. Even when we take a look at Janak, the father of Sita, very powerful, right? Himalaya Putri, Himalaya, very powerful. The father of Ma Parvati. Every father. So we talked about mother. This entire day is dedicated to mother, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about the father as well. Mother is your first guru, and so is your father. I always say You know, the Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. Guru is, of course, Vishnu, the masculine force. Guru is also Brahma, also the masculine force. Guru is also Bhagavan Shankar, the masculine force. Guru is Parabrahma. Guru is the Brahma, Parabrahma, Guru. But do you know who the first Guru is? The mother, the feminine, the Shakti. And that's it. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says here, among all the relationships, I am the mother. All the feminine he lists. Among all the leaves, I am Tulsi. I am the Surabhi guy, the cow. I am Ganga. I am Urvashi. Among all the Apsaras, I am Urvashi, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says. Among all the goddesses, I am also Mata Parvati and I am also Mata Lakshmi. Krishna is saying this, by the way. I am Mata Parvati. We talked about Durga, right? The Durga, she has a banner, the flag, which the flag, for example, Arjun had a flag on his rath, on his chariot, which contained Bhagavan what? Hanumanji, right? Ma Durga also has a flag. What's the bearer of the flag? What does she have in there? A peacock. She has a peacock banner. What does Bhagavan Shri Krishna have on his head? A peacock as well. He even puts the feminine over his head. How can we not? Right? And so when we worship the feminine, we're worshiping the goddess, the divine feminine all around us, right? The feminine qualities within us and all around us as well. The maternal, the nourishing qualities, we call Mata Parvati Annapurna. How will you be able to feed yourself if Mata Parvati didn't help you? Where does food come from? What does Bhagavan Ganapati hold in his hand? Modak, right? The food, the nourishment. Where does it come from? From Mata Parvati, the Shakti. Without Shakti, how will you feed yourself? Who feeds when we're born? Who feeds us? It's the mother. You know what? I feel like, gods and goddesses feel further away from us, even though they're not. They're within us as well, and they're all around us. But if we're not able to see them directly, no problem. Look at the goddesses within the feminine around you. That's the greatest way you can respect and honor the feminine around you, is by honoring the feminine, the goddess, and that's within all the feminine around you, all the feminine. They're beautiful. They're amazing. Today is the first day of Navarātri, the feminine, right? One thing I want to leave you with, and that's going to be the end of my session here today, and I've really enjoyed it. We'll be doing more of these. Hopefully you've enjoyed this too. Again, we have covered many scriptures. Durga Saptashati in the beginning. We have covered Bhagavad Gita many times. We have covered Ramcharitamana, Sundarkand. We've listened to the entire story of Sundarkand in a way, in summary. We have also covered, what else have we covered? Srimad Bhagavatam. And now I am about to cover Brahma Vaivarta Purana as well. That's going to be my last thing, which is Brahma Vaivarta Purana. And Srimad Bhagavatam as well, but let me see here. There's a lot of things I want to say, and I did have this written somewhere, so I'm just trying to find if I can find. But basically, Prakruti Khand of Brahma Vaivarta Puran, you can, by the way, access these books. Nowadays, we don't have an excuse. Nobody should be able to say, you know what, I don't have a book. I don't know where to read our scriptures from. Today, we don't have that excuse anymore. You cannot say that. Why? Everything is within our phones now. You can bring up any. All you have to do is put in the effort. Like I said in the beginning, since we have everything, we have all the resources, even more than our ancestors, we have that. All we have to do is use it. The excuse, we cannot give that excuse anymore that, you know what, where do I listen? Where do I read? Bhagavan says, I'm going to end with this. I'm going to conclude with this. Bhagavan, specifically Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Brahma, Indra, Bhagavan Shankar, they also worshipped Ma Durga, which is the feminine force. You know, of course, we know many stories of gods defeating demons. and they do, like Ram, like Krishna, like all the Bhagavan. But sometimes when gods like Indra, when they're not able to defeat a certain demon, who do they go to? They go to the feminine. They always rely on the feminine to be able to defeat the ones even the gods cannot defeat. So Sri Krishna, at the beginning of the universe, Brahma Vaivart Purana, Prakriti Khanda, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, it is said here, in Adikal, at the beginning of the universe, he worshipped the Devi. Devi Puja, Bhagwan Shri Krishna performed, by the way. The second time, Brahmaji, when Mata Durga annihilated, when she finished, when she killed Madhu and Kaidab, Brahmaji also worshipped the feminine, the Shakti, the Ma Durga. So Bhagwan Krishna did. And 2 chapters before Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna does say to Arjun, worship Durga. You can always go back and read. Brahmaji also worships the feminine, the Shakti. Third time, Mahadev himself, Bhagwan Shankar, Bhagwan Mahadev, Bhagwan Rudra. Who does he worship as well? Teesri baar. Mahadev ji also worships the Devi. And the fourth time, Indra performs with great faith and devotion Ma Durga's worship as well. So Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Brahma, Bhagwan Shankar, Indra, my point is, all the goddesses, they worship the Shakti. So who are we to not worship it? How can you forget the Shakti? How will you be able to be alive without Shakti in your life? You cannot ignore. That's my last thing. You cannot ignore the Shakti. Remember the various forms of Shakti as we go through the various days of Navarātri, today being the first day. Start something new. Start something. Bring the feminine out. If you want transformation, you need Shakti. If you want change, you need Shakti in your life. Respect and honor the Shakti that is within you and within all around you, by the way. Because without them, we wouldn't be able to exist. Bhagavan says himself. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundayai Viche. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundayai Viche. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundayai Viche. Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatan Namaha. Namaha Prakrityai Bhadrayai Niyatah Pranatasmatam. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsthita. Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samsthita. Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Buddhi Rupena Samsthita. Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Har. Gange Har Narmade Har Kala Har Kashta Har Dukha Har Daridra Har. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Har. Om